Alright, and we are recording. Alright, welcome to TTP Podcast Season 2, Episode 7 with guest Pennycries. Hello YouTube, hello everyone. So we want to record this, will be on YouTube and Spotify and all the major links. But welcome to our captive studio audience. Yes. Alright.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get shy. I didn't know there was a crowd here.
There's a crowd, exactly. But Penny is a good friend. If you can't catch her, she's on twitch.tv/Pennycries. She's also streams from Australia. So for you guys on the East Coast, that is way damn early in the morning to be up. So just make sure. But in case you don't know, she's on twitch.tv. If I can type and talk at the same time. Apparently I can't. But go and check her out. Oops, wait, I didn't put a link in. No, I took a link. I'm just typing
I'll
the link.
never know.
I'm just typing the link chat, and you never know. You didn't see me type this out. There you go. But she's over on Pennycries. We met through. Was it for Gishi? Because I think Gishi.
Yeah, it was Gish.
Gishi like rated you one point, and then you were in the chat, and I were in chat, and then we just started talking. So.
Yeah.
It is all because of Gishi, and he was like, they got on last month's podcast, so you're following up after him, just to be.
It's always Gishi.
It's always Gishi, yeah, there's Gishi. Yeah, exactly. Let me pull my notes up.
He's just that guy.
Yes, he's just that guy. But yeah, so we met through Gishi. Gishi is very versatile, like he goes out to many people, so it's just like. It's like everyone, like you meet someone through someone else or someone else you meet some, like you wouldn't, like you owe my friendship with Penny to Kishi, because apparently I would have met Penny otherwise. So yeah. Alright,
yeah.
So we started the podcast with kind of like an introduction, so you can go first, so like, because people don't know you, so who are you, where they can find you, what do you do, what do you stream? Give us the 411 on Pennycries.
Well, yes, I am Pennycries. I am just a little lady streamer, streaming away on Twitch. I play a lot of horror games. That's usually my go-to. But then you'll see me play like Ghost of Tsushima and then have a breakdown. And that's usually the theme. Yeah, that's usually the theme. I
Penny cries.
Get very invested.
No,
yeah, Penny does cry.
What is the origin of the name? I'm just curious. I don't think I ever asked you. It's just because you Penny cries a lot.
Yes, but also Pennywise.
Oh, that makes sense now because of that one profile pic. It's Pennywise for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah,
now.
the weird red lines on my face every now and then.
Yes,
yeah.
If you ever go Google Pennycries on Instagram or Twitch, be aware that those pictures will come up. Because I was trying to use it, like I was like, do I use one of your pictures? And I'm like, everyone's gonna think it's very weird. It's like Pennycries with makeup and like red, like streaks of blood like on her face. I was like, oh no. But yeah,
Just a warning. It's all fake. It's all
fake. It's all fake. Yeah. But in terms of that, so yeah, we met through Yoshi and everything, and also a streamer. I think I need to. Well, not that I'm saying that is that thing, but I think we've always done people that are also streamers. Maybe only one person I did wasn't a streamer, but I think Purpose wasn't here for that one. But yeah, welcome to esteemed line of people that we like to question and interview. So this is more of kind of us to get to know you per se, and also for people out there to know more about Pennycries, which is not Mr. Burns, as you can see from that Discord profile picture that's like over here somewhere. But all right, so yes, Twitch.tv, Pennycries, and we'll go over the handles at the end of the stream. But all right, so Purpose, how's it been the last month? What have you been up to?
So it's been great. I've been real busy up until I guess it would be 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I officially am done with college.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Congrats.
I have my certificate for industrial maintenance, so IET, industrial engineering, I don't know.
It's like technical. Yeah.
Industrial engineering technologies, I think, is what the technical certificate is.
Gotcha.
At work, the same day, I was approached by my boss and was informed that I was going to be taking over the position of um, the I'll be working directly with the controls manager and working on the controls of all the machines. So all the PLCs and everything, the programs and stuff. I'll be anytime they have issues or there's new programs that have to be written, I'll be working with them and writing those. So that's pretty exciting. Get finished with school and then be told that you are doing pretty good at something, so we want to go send you to school for that. So probably gonna have to start taking some classes with a company that does a lot of PLCs, Rockwell. I'm gonna be doing a lot of schooling with them now, so get out of one school and I guess you go to the next one if you want to make more money.
Nice.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, this whole experience has just been, I've said a little bit about it before, but it's been very eye-opening as to, you know, what I enjoy and what I want to do, because like I've always, like, in the past, I had always just been like a general laborer. You know, I never like specialized in anything, and I didn't really do much. I've always been into building computers and stuff, but I didn't ever want to make that my career because, you know, you don't want to make your hobby your job. That can
Oh yeah, that'll take out of it. That's true.
And so like. A friend of mine at work, we were both like in the same position. We operated the machines, and there was an apprenticeship put up for the maintenance department to be working on our machines, and he had advised me that I should try, like, it was going to be 2 people, and he was like, you should do this with me because I want to do it with somebody that I enjoy being around and I like, you know, working with. So I put in for it and wound up getting it, and it was just something like that I never would have thought. Like, if you'd have told me from, like, I don't know, 5-10 years before that's what I would be doing, I would have laughed at you, because there was no way. I'm not mechanically minded. I'm not, you know, I never showed an interest in any of that, and to, like, you know, take that step, just go out there and do it. I'm constantly learning new things, and that's the thing about me, is I love to learn. I love to have conversation and to constantly be, you know, evolving and taking in more, and like that's what does it for me. That's why I enjoy what I'm doing, is that now that's a constant thing. It's never, you know, I never know it all. You can't know it all in the field that I'm in, so it's just like a never-ending well of enjoyment. So, I mean, well, you know, we all get frustrated with our jobs and stuff sometimes. Like, it's just a really cool thing to be in the position that I'm in, for me at least.
Nice.
That's really nice. That's so good.
Nice. All right. Yes, definitely. For sure. Glad they so that gives you more free time now, on purpose, I assume?
As I said, right now, yes.
Right.
They like, whenever my boss came to me and told me that this was what he wanted for me, we kind of like had discussed like what that meant, and it was like, well, you're gonna work with the controls manager, and you're gonna, you know, you know the basics of how to do this stuff, so we're gonna just see how you fit in the position. And then, like, later on, we might, you know, if you want to get Rockwell certified, if you want to do this stuff, then we'll see about, you know, getting you an education. And then, like, today he comes to me, he's just like, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and, you know, start enrollment into the Rockwell training program and all this stuff. And I'm like, thought this was later down the line. I didn't realize that, so
it's like right after graduation, it's like, you're in it.
Yeah, and so like the other thing is like with that, it's like a learn at your own pace type thing where it's an online course where you just have access to all of their information, and they have like different like trainers and troubleshooting and stuff like that for you to kind of go through with their program, and then whenever you feel ready, you can take the test to become certified. So it'll be a learn at my own pace type thing, something that they're going to want me to do on my own time. So since it'll be on my own time, while currently my time just got freed up because I'm no longer in class, going to class, for 10 hours or whatever a week. Now that gets to be filled right back up with new stuff. But we'll see whenever that happens. They haven't signed me up for anything yet. They just said that they got the paperwork and everything together to do so, and I'm not against it. Like I said, I'm super excited for this, and I can't wait to see where it leads. So
does it come with a pay raise? I assume. I'm just assuming.
So as of right now, I was just put into the position, and they haven't really talked about it
yet. Okay, because it's gotta be I have more responsibility.
Yeah, I would assume that like typically speaking, where I'm at, it's kind of like you work in a position, like whenever you get into a position like that, it would be like you're in a probationary period, and during that probationary period, most of the time they don't like give you any extra, but once you're through that probationary period, then they might, depending on whether or not they want to keep you there or not, then they'll start talking about money. So the hope is that I make it through probationary period with no issues, which I think won't be a problem for me, and then from there, I hope that it's a pretty good pay increase, and hopefully we can do more things on the side.
How's the bathroom progress too? Because I heard about Nuka.
Nuka has been working on the mudding and painting and whatnot in the bathroom while I'm at work, and neither one of us have ever done that, and like mudding is just awful.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Mudding and sanding and mudding and sanding. So whenever you put up drywall, like where the seams of the drywall are and where the screws are, you can't ever see that in the wall whenever you're done and painted it, right? That's because you mudded it. So you take like this plaster, like mudding material, and you run it on all the seams and all the screw holes and cover everything up. But once you cover it up, then it's not flat.
You gotta sand it down.
Then you have to sand it down, and like there is definitely an art to it. And so she has been just struggle bussing, like mudding, sanding, because you sand too much, you gotta remud.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Be glad it's not a roof though, right? Because the roof would be in pain to mud and yeah.
So so with the roof, you more use like
the ceiling.
In most cases. Yeah, and the ceiling definitely. I was gonna say with the roof you would use like tar and shingles, but it wouldn't be quite the same. But yeah, mudding the ceiling, she's also hated that because it's like working with your arms above you, like that doesn't ever feel good.
No.
So yeah, it's been quite a nightmare for her, and she's like, do you want to give it a try? I'm like, I already gave it a try, and I sucked at it too, so...
Well, is it Is it this weekend? Are you guys going to be more proactive at it or no?
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know
like
yet?
we
Okay.
are. We are still busy. The girls have been
Okay.
at multiple camps.
Mhm.
My oldest is home. She came home Wednesday. My youngest two, they are both still at camp. I think they come home tonight. But whenever I say come home, like they're at my sister's house, so we'll go and pick them up from my sister's tomorrow. So we gotta drive an hour and a half to my sister's, go and pick up the girls, and then bring them home
Gotcha.
tomorrow. Which again, like, it's just always throwing wrenches, you know. The other problem is I was actually like, we're mudding and sanding and all this stuff. I don't even have all the drywall up yet because there are
What?
two sections. Yeah, there's two sections that I didn't have enough drywall for.
Okay.
So go get more drywall. But the drywall doesn't fit in a van, so I have to borrow somebody's truck to go get drywall. And I just can never line up with anybody who will let me use their truck to go and get drywall. So it's just,
Dang.
adulting's hard. And
Give Penny context how long this remodel has been going on, just so he has context on how long.
So we started the remodel. Our initial demo was the weekend of Easter. So
Oh.
Good Friday we started. All the work has been done. All the work has been done by myself, one of my friends from work, and my wife. She's been doing the finishing thing, all the finishing stuff, but if you haven't heard from the previous podcast, I actually wasn't on one or two podcasts because of working on it, because it wasn't just your typical remodel. It was everything,
right?
Yeah, we had to gut the whole thing because every time we would take something down, there was something wrong behind it. So
oh no.
we knew that we had to do the floor. So we take the floor off and there was a floor under the floor, and we take that floor off and there's a floor under it. There was just people in the past were just stacking floors on top of each other instead of actually fixing the problem. And so then we get all the floors out, and then the joists are all completely rotted and not good. So we have to take the joist out. We have to there was a point where if you open the bathroom door, which you leave my office, go open the bathroom door, and you're literally just looking at a hole in the floor, you're looking at the ground. So it was kind of crazy, and I've never done any remodeling like that. We've never ever gotten any work I've not worked on my house, period. And my first time working on my house was tearing the entire ceiling, walls, and floor out of a bathroom, completely gutting everything, rerunning all the piping, redoing the electrical. We did it all. It's all brand new. So we wanna do our best to make sure that it looks good when we're done. I mean, I put all this work into it. Please do not just half-ass the finish. Is kind of the way that but at the same time but at the same time you just think, oh, I just want to be done with this.
Yeah.
Just put paint on the damn wall so it's over.
You'd be interested. I did an inspection today, and man, my house is built in 1875. If you go down to the basement and look under a certain part, it's log foundation, an actual log is under there for the foundation of the house. It's but they, of course, there's yes, it's been beetle damage, and the log is sistered between two 2x4s just to make sure that it's stable. But I'm just man, my house is old. But yeah. But just to piggyback on that, what's up to me? I bought a house. Didn't expect to buy a house this soon, but I have a house. I have an attic. Apparently, we figured out that there's a bat somewhere up in the attic, so we're calling.
Oh, those are great.
I don't know though. They're rabies.
Not
They're not that great. But so the one reanimation
yeah,
company.
you
Oh my
already have
god.
pets.
The one. Well, we have four. There's 4 cats here. So I don't need more
Right.
pets.
You already have pets.
Yeah. But the first remediation company was like, it's gonna cost over $7,000. Why is it gonna cost $7,000? Because they put tubing in so the bats who are inside can only go out, but they can't come back in. But then there's like, it's gotta be aggressive. So if you seal everything up, you're gonna have bats flying around, be like, why can't we get back into this roof? I'm like, man. But I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do that. That's like half of front of a $7,000 thing. I was like, no. And they had a second quote, and I think the second person's just gonna come be like, we're just gonna seal it, and then if there's a bat, I guess maybe remove it. I don't know. They're coming around one day. But they say like average quote is like in comparison to $7,000, 700. So I'm like, maybe that's gonna be a little better, but we'll see. But matter expensive. It's a big jump. Yeah,
big
exactly.
decline, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have
Dang.
another adult expense was a tree got uprooted in the backyard right when we moved in. So I was like,
Oh,
I don't have a chainsaw to dismantle this. So I
Right.
quoted a couple of companies. The closest one was like $500. He's like, oh yeah, we can ship it. Saw it, get rid of it, and it was gone. So we're missing one tree in the middle. But our yard is like long enough that like it's like a long yard but it's flat. And the funny part about, I don't know if you guys find this interesting, we border a cemetery, which is literally at the back of our yard. Like if you walk all the way back and past the fence line of our neighbors that have 2 dogs, thankfully they have a fence, you walk straight into a cemetery, which is back there.
that's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So we have that working for us. But then I just did a home inspection today. So the home inspection, they did a radon test. I don't know if you guys know what radon is by chance, either of you. I assume purpose does.
No.
No.
You guys don't know? Okay.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, maybe
I didn't
when
know
you
what
say
mudding
it, I'll be
was.
like, oh.
Oh, yeah, that's true, that's true. Oh, you can okay. But, yeah, so radon testing is like a naturally occurring, like, radiation that's in the ground. So, like, if the radon level is a high exposure over a certain period of time, you definitely would start developing lung cancer. But it's, like, undetectable. You wouldn't know it's there unless you had a test done. And the inspector was like, you might need a radon testing because the levels are high in Pennsylvania. I'm like, okay, we'll do a radon test. They just tacked that on to the whole thing. So, but yeah, the inspection was like, asbestos wrapped ducts. I'm like, all right. And then they're like, your return is not hooked up to anything. I'm like, is that a bad thing? That means your basement is going to get really, really heated really nicely, but everywhere else in the house is not. So I was like, because we have oil-based heating, so I don't know if I can replace that or not. But our oil tank is very old. If you looked at the tank, it's very rusted and it's old. But I need to get someone to come out and service it before it gets too cold here. But the one bright side about this house, the walls are thick, so that we're in a duplex, so we're sharing a wall with a neighbor. But in terms of like climate in the house, I feel like it wouldn't get too cold in here because like the walls are pretty thick and insulating per se. But
That's good.
yeah, but we do have a garage, and then we got to the point of the garage
Ooh.
where it's like, yeah, there's asbestos on the siding. I'm like, I know that because I saw that when I first got here. But we're thinking to do like maybe spruce the garage up because it has electrical out there. Maybe do streams out there. Maybe have like my vision's like a folding door where it like opens up so that you have indoor outdoor, and you're just sitting there on your computer and whatever.
Yeah.
Streaming. So we'll
Okay.
see. That's like a dream down the line. So, but apparently we added
Hmm.
more to the dreams where like there's a tree in the back of the yard that could use a swing. So I'm like, all right, we're adding to the list. And then like the where the tree's gone, we're like, maybe we'll put in like a peach tree because peach trees can actually survive up here. So I don't know. So many things for the house. It's just kind of slowly process getting here. I'm getting used to 4 cats. I took one. Oh, so if you don't know, I can probably say it. Purpose, do you have an inkling who's living with me?
No.
It's Winter. Winter and her 2 kids.
Oh, yeah?
Winter, her
Cool.
2 kids, and her 4 cats. So, but yeah. So she's having the so the way the house is designed, it's a 3-bedroom. So I'm in the front bedroom, then she's in one in the back bedroom, and her 2 kids are sharing a room. So they're still sharing a room with bunk beds, so they're in the back. But the 4 cats are running around. So we have like one cat's very friendly, the other cats are still scared of me. So they're slowly getting accustomed to me. But yeah, I've gone from a single man to living with my best friend and her 2 kids and 4 cats. It's a full household. So yeah. So,
Aw, that's so wholesome.
yeah, apparently.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So, but yeah. All right. So that's the intro. Where are we on? What have we been up to? Who Pennycries is and purpose. Oh, you got
Before we
something?
get too far,
Yeah.
before we get too far away from it,
Okay.
whenever you get like, so I've started this thing where I'm done spending money on the bathroom, right?
Okay.
So now, whenever my friends are like, "Oh yeah, you need to get this. It costs like 10 grand," and I'll just be like, "So it costs 2 bathrooms." Because I know how much a bathroom costs, so I just gauge all large purchases by the bathroom. So it's like, oh, that's a half bathroom. We're good.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, you mean to tell me you want me to pay 7 bathrooms for that? Nope.
It's like a new metric. It's great.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can only gauge it on bat remediation so far and getting rid of a tree in the backyard. That's my cost so far, but we'll see.
Like, but for me, like, and like we got out so cheap because we did all the work ourselves. $5,000 to do that type of remodel on your bathroom is like it's criminally cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a new metric that I do use. So if you ever hear me say that's a half bathroom, that's probably about $2,500 or so.
There you go. All right. So that's the intro. A little bit about Pennycries, a little bit in purpose and Ty I've been up to. So one of the topics which I kind of switched together. I don't know if you guys noticed about the Twitter rebranding. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter at all or pay attention to Twitter. Let me pull up a browser window. Hold on, so I can.
No, but it's hard to miss the rebranding.
It's hard to wait. What? All right,
I just mean like I load for a couple days there. It was like you load Reddit and everyone's just talking about this rebranding. So.
Oh yeah. All right, so I'm pulling my Twitter feed. So you can see. Let me. Oh,
so,
of course, it's a Twitter for Elon, so it's an X. If you can see that right there, it's an X.
So here's my question with the whole thing, because the most important thing is we had tweets, right? Because it was Twitter, and like someone asked, since now it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. What is it? Ooh. And Elon says that they're X's, but like. Ooh. I like zeets. Somebody else was like, "Oh, you make a zeet."
A zeet.
I'm like, "Oh, that's way
better.
better than an X."
Yeah.
It just sounds like you're talking about a past relationship.
I know. X is what? I don't know. Like it's Elon Musk. I'm like, I feel like it's expected for him to switch things up, change things up, but man, this is like a really big change. I don't think it's affected the app yet. Let me check, hold on. Because I feel like the app still has the Twitter. Do I have it on my phone? Yeah.
I will say this.
Yeah, the app still has it right there with the Twitter logo.
I saw a clip from like a WWE event or something, and they had already the day after or something, they had already changed at the bottom whenever it says like #1 trending on Twitter, they had already changed like the logo to be the X and #1 trending on X, and I was like I cannot believe that this is already changed.
Wow.
Like this happened like yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I think this
they didn't really ease into it.
No, they did not. It's like it was a very abrupt change, and like I guess everyone's like, all right, it's now X. It's no longer. I'm still gonna call it Twitter for the loggers. Like it's not gonna like get you on my brain that quickly, but still.
I mean, it's 15 years or something that Twitter's been hanging around and being Twitter with your tweets, and you can't just like do a big change like that. And
don't know.
expect everyone to just call it X.
Yeah, no one's gonna.
It doesn't have a ring to it.
It's like the same thing. Just to bring up another reference, Star Wars reference, and maybe purposeful, I don't agree or disagree with me. I still call Grogu Baby Yoda. I'm not calling him Grogu. It's Baby Yoda. And people are like, it's Grogu.
Right, so me, as soon as he had a name, he was Grogu.
Oh.
Like, I was waiting on the name.
Yeah.
I wanted to know the name.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand because, like, there are many people in my family that are still like, Baby Yoda. And I'm like, yeah, Grogu, awesome. You know, like, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. But, so, I don't have Twitter on my phone. If I get, like, I have an account, and, like, sometimes I'll get emails or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, what's this person doing or whatever. But, so I did the experiment. Let's see what happens whenever I search Twitter in the App Store on Apple. It's still called Twitter, but it has the X.
Oh, it does? Let me look.
Yeah,
I haven't updated my phone yet.
Yeah, so it has the X for the icon in the App Store, but it's still called Twitter.
I feel you can't change it so far overnight. Like, there's no way. Yes, he's still called Twitter. Yeah, I see it. I don't know. Elon Musk is like, you give him so much leeway to do so many things. This is like one of his crazy ideas right now. Like, I can tell you from Tesla branding and everything, man. He puts some weird shit in Teslas. Like, like seriously, like, who puts a fart machine into a car? This man does. Elon Musk. So, like, okay. So there's an option in the car, right? You can select, it's like a fart machine, and you can specify which corner of the car that it goes off in, so it makes the noise. So you
can prank your passengers?
Mm-hmm. You can prank your passengers with a farty noise. And also, you can, if you leave it on and someone unexpectedly takes it, and like, you can have it turn on when someone turns a turn signal on, and they'll just start farting. I don't know what sense of humor Elon Musk has, but apparently this change is not affecting anyone, because everyone's kind of aware of the crazy things he does. Like, even the marketing for like all the Teslas, because you know there's an S, there's a Model 3, there's a Model X, there's a Model Y. Originally, the Model 3 was supposed to be an E, but Ford, I think, marketed that as their electric vehicle. But you know what those words spell? S-E-X-Y.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yeah.
So, like, there's like things like that where, you know, like, he does some crazy things, and I feel like, I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, it's Elon Musk, so like, you're expecting like weird shit like this to occur.
He just does whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if he loses $53 billion, who gives a shit? Like, that's just the way that he looks at it. And
that's his chum change, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's just so, like, it's weird to the regular person, like, why would he do that? But it's like, at the same time, just like, who gives a shit? Like, I can do whatever I want because I just have all this money. Like, I just have everything, and what else am I gonna do other than do shit to get reactions from people? Like, and I feel like that's what he does anymore. He just does shit to get reactions.
I've got this on the screen. Move. Oh no, it's
capturing. So I think he's got like an X theme going on. Because I think he has a company with like SpaceX or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just and like, isn't his child? Doesn't his child have? It's like begins with an X.
Dude, yes, his
and
child's
like a couple of numbers in there.
So weird, yeah.
Hold on, let me look. Elon Musk.
Like,
child.
I can't remember the child's name, but it is like
it's like
X like
AE.
Yeah, well, the AE is the ether sign, like it's.
Oh yeah, this one XAE A dash X 12. What is this?
12, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
but
wow.
you there's a way to pronounce it, like.
Oh really?
If you use the phonetics of what like those symbols stand for and stuff, like there's a way to pronounce that. I just can't.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
It's whatever.
Wait, I looked at this. Do you guys realize he has 10 kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I didn't know that was that.
And
All right.
a bunch
Again,
of different women
he's worth,
too.
he has infinite amounts of money. What's he gonna like? What are they gonna do? Like he just gives them millions of dollars a month, and it
Right.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, but just to play devil's advocate, because this is Twitter, it's Elon Musk. Like, what happens would anything other change? Like, let's say if McDonald's lost the Golden Arches as their logo, would that totally upset people? Because like, that's all we know them for. Like, is this because it's Elon Musk that we don't really care that he made this change, or is
No,
it
I
like,
think we've seen this in the past. We've seen other rebrands that it was just like, at first it's like culture shock a little bit, but then it's like, yeah, whatever. Like it's the same thing. And I think that so long as you know, so long as you know what it is, like it doesn't matter what they call it.
Sure.
Like to the extent of like, so there's an example if you look up the Big Mac, right?
Mhm.
McDonald's actually lost the trademark for the Big Mac. They tried to defend it and did a terrible job at defending it, and so in some areas like Burger King was selling the Big Mac, but it was like, or they were selling not a Big Mac. They were selling
that's
burgers
right.
called not a Big Mac burgers,
Right.
and it was just their Whoppers, but it was not a Big Mac, right? And it was just like, whatever. Like, it didn't change McDonald's that they no longer had the rights to exclusively call things a Big Mac.
Oh, okay. So here it is. Oh, hold on. Can't sign in. But the title, the
Like
news
a Big
headline
Mac, but actually big.
like
That's
a Big
right.
Mac, but actually big.
Yeah.
Right, whatever. But alright, yeah, that makes sense. So like, it's this initial like it's changed. I don't know what I said when I wrote the question.
Or here's another one, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Oculus didn't Oculus was purchased by Meta, right? And then it became what's it called now? The Meta.
This is the Meta. What is it called? Meta? That's Meta?
Is it still an Oculus or is it?
Yeah. Hold on. Good look.
Because it was the Oculus Rift.
Let's see.
I don't even remember. I literally have one in the other room. So it looks like they still have a Rift. The Quest.
I think it's still the Quest. Oh, the Quest. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So they rebranded the Oculus as the Quest. And we're doing MetaQuest. Apparently they still have an Oculus, maybe, but I don't ever hear anything about that. Yeah, see, the Oculus Rift is no longer available. It's just the MetaQuest.
Oh, okay.
We don't even think about that. It doesn't matter. It's the headset.
Yeah, true.
Meta didn't have to change it from the Oculus Rift. Oculus
True.
Rift was more recognizable at the time than the Quest.
That is true. Yeah, I guess some name branding is not a big deal. But I wasn't sure why. Connected to Go ahead, Penny. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. But I think with him rebranding, it's leading to Twitter not being Twitter anymore because he's talked about how he wants to have the platform like in China. I think it's called WeChat, where it has everything, like messaging, rideshare, a bunch of everything. And he's claimed that he wants to have an app like that, a platform like that. And I think that's what Twitter's going to be. I think there was speculation when he first bought it.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's a bit sad. The bird's not going to be the bird anymore, and Twitter's not going to be Twitter anymore.
Yeah, it's a little sad.
The bird's no longer the word.
Yeah, the bird's no longer the word. Exactly.
He flew away.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think this has any implications for Twitch. I don't know why I made that connection, but I guess. But I guess another rebranding. Like, it's another day, it changes. So, get used to the new name, but sometimes still gonna call it Twitter, even though it's not Twitter anymore. It's X, but whatever they're. It's like Facebook and Meta. Who likes Meta? Who rebrands into Meta? I don't understand. I don't know. Some of those
I
things.
forgot it was Meta.
But the thing is that this goes exactly back to what Penny was saying just a minute ago. They rebranded Meta because they didn't want to just be Facebook. They wanted to be in different, like, they wanted to spin out into VR headsets. Like, Zuckerberg, like, specifically bought Oculus because he wanted to make Meta, because he saw Facebook as a dying platform where he felt that the next space was the meta space, which is why he branded it Meta.
Alright.
He feels that the next big space is getting on your headset and going into a chat room of sorts and being able to sit down with your friends like in a Discord call or something, but with a virtual avatar. Like, he made a big deal about this at like one of the Meta things that like this is my avatar and blah 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 and like all this stuff, and nobody cared about it, but it was like such a big deal to him because to him that's the future. The future is this, Meta as the new social media type thing. So
Gotcha.
yeah, like that totally makes sense why they're rebranding to be something different, because Facebook is this thing that he made like how many, like 15, 20 years ago or whatever, that was supposed to be for like picking up girls, like or selecting girls on a college campus. Like legitimately, that was the thing that it was made for. Wouldn't it be cool if we had a way for us to see the pictures of all these girls on a campus? Like,
it's so creepy when you put it up.
Yeah, but that's what it was. That's what they designed. And it's like, and then it became something totally different from there. And that, like, why would you want Facebook to be what this new virtual world is called? That's not, Facebook isn't a virtual world, right? Like, that's not what it is. So to rebrand it makes sense. Which is why as soon as Penny said, well, Elon was talking about wanting to branch into these other things, it makes total sense why Twitter isn't its name anymore. But I've never...
Because X is such a vague term.
Right. And like you said, he has SpaceX. He's already working on that whole X, like, branding thing. So it totally makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Indeed. Alright. And moving on. I need like a transition for every time that I need to do that. Moving on to the second topic. It's an AMA question. So explain to Penny, because I didn't explain this well last time. An AMA question is what we get to ask a question of either me, Purpose, or either both of us, or one of us, either or. But the panel also takes turns asking questions of each other. So we get to ask one question each, but you get to go first. So do you have a question you would want to ask us? Anything, as long as it's good for terms of service, you can ask.
Okay. I was like squizzing the news to, see if any topics were, of value to talk about, and everything was really negative. And I'm like, oh, this is probably going to be a bit of a downer for the podcast. So then I was like looking on my feed and having a squiz, and I see so many people traveling at the moment, and they're like in Europe and just going on holidays, having the time of their lives. And so I wanted to run it by both of you. Do you have some top countries that are like on your bucket list that you really want to go to? And is there anything in particular that you want to do that only that specific country really does?
Okay.
What are your like your top countries that you want to go to?
You want to field this first, Purpose, or you want me to?
I mean, mine's easy.
Alright.
I've always thought that it would be like really cool to go and see the culture of Japan. Japan's culture is just like so interesting, and the way that they do things is like so different. Everyone is the way they treat everyone with respect, and the way that the whole country is run is just such a interesting thing to me being from America, where like a lot of the things that they do is just like such a foreign idea. And also I would love to, you know, visit a Pokemon Center IRL, and you know, I have one of my best friends is in the Navy, and he's currently stationed over there, and like whenever he sends me like care packages and stuff back, he's like sending me stuff from the Pokemon of Japan store, like Pokemon Center of Japan. It's just like this stuff is so cool. I wish that I could be there to see this stuff in real life. You know, it's like and the like Pokemon was always a big thing for me growing up. Like, you know, it was one of the larger games whenever I was a kid. So like to see, like, sometimes he'll send me pictures, and like one morning he sent me a picture, and he had went to the local bakery, and like he had like he bought one of their Pikachu donuts. Like, they just have pastries that are like that look like Pokemon. It's like if your random you know bakery and you know in Japan, and you walk in and it's just like, yeah, can I get the Pikachu one? Like, it's like, dude, you don't run into that. He like went to McDonald's, and they had like a Pikachu smoothie was on their menu. I'm like, what the hell even is a Pikachu smoothie? Like, I want that, and like the cup and everything. Like, I forget. I could look it up because he sent me a message of what it was, but it was just like, what in the, this is so cool. I want to be part of this. It is really cool. Yeah. That would definitely be mine.
Yeah, they do have a lot of anime in their sort of culture. Like, you walk around Tokyo. I remember when I went to Hiroshima, there was just like a giant Goku in front of a convenience store. And it's just like, oh, okay, that's just Goku. There's a lot of One Piece, a lot of Dragon Ball Z. And they have it in their marketing everywhere. And it's just normal. It's crazy to see. And everyone's just like, yeah, it's One Piece. You know, it's just chilling. It's really cool.
But you know One Piece is coming to Netflix? Like a live action?
Yeah.
A live action One Piece?
A live action One Piece.
Yeah. It actually looks pretty alright, too.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, too. You gotta check it out. I was watching it before. Yeah.
I've never watched One Piece, and I've never like been a part, like I've not, but like watching that trailer, I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
I'm interested in how they would do it.
Well, there's some special effects involved, of course, but yeah. But
yeah.
Oh, wait, is it One Piece or One Punch? Hold on, let me double check because I make a movie.
No, it's One
very
Piece.
Different.
It's One Piece. It's One Piece.
It is One Piece? Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's One Piece.
The pirates.
Sorry, yeah, because I always get confused with One Piece and One Punch. That's me, my knowledge of the anime. I was like, you're right, it's One Piece. But yeah, in terms of where I would go, the only thing I really like, it's probably top of my bucket list because I just never had the money or the time, is to go back to Australia, the land of my birth. But I have never have like, I still have family in like Canberra, so like, well. Like, as a friend would put me up if I really wanted to go. My sister, jealous enough, she went like many years ago on like a tour, so she kind of took a tour back to Australia. But I haven't been back Australia since I left, so that would still be bad. I think I missed the authenticity of meat pie, because there's not many meat pies in the U.S. And like,
it's like a weird thing over there. You guys, I would see videos and we talk about a meat pie, and everyone's like, meat in a pie? A savory pie? What?
I know. Like, literally, my childhood was literally brush my teeth, go pull a meat pie out of the freezer, put it in and toast it, and that would be my breakfast. Like, literally, that was like for many years, I did that. But yeah, like, I think it's just like, just going back for, I guess, the cultural like aspect of it, because I've been gone for so long. And if you look at my passport, nationality is Australian, so technically I am still Australian, but living in the U.S. But
you're like, I'm not lying, I swear.
I swear, I am. But yeah, also that and the what do you call it? I still like Japan too. Japan would be probably second because like I think it's the cultural thing. Because I've seen so many videos, man. Japan is so much more cleaner than the U.S. It has so much more cooler things. I literally would just want to like go and just explore, like in certain areas and just be like be amazed of the ingenuity and like I don't know, just like the culture differences. Because like it's just I feel like Japan knows what they're doing in comparison to everywhere else in the world. I'm not saying that everywhere else is bad, but just like Japan's got a leg up on the competition, more or less. But yeah. Let me turn around.
I've sent you a few pictures in Discord. The one is a Pikachu pineapple or pineapple frap, which is a pineapple smoothie, is what that is.
Okay.
And then the picture of the donut, and then also like again randomly on their mailboxes, like the public mailboxes, that you would put like a parcel in. Like
there's a newsstand. What? It's got an Eevee and 2 Pikachus.
Eevee and Pikachus on top of it.
Oh my god!
Like
Here.
It makes no sense. Why is this like? But like it's cool.
It is cool.
I'm down.
Yeah, exactly. So Betty, it sounds like you went to Japan, but do you have somewhere else on your bucket list that you would want to go?
There's like a few countries, but like Iceland has always been number one, but would be the hardest to get to.
Oh, that's true.
Just like
furthest away.
Yeah, furthest away. And it's not like a direct flight there. Like you'd have to take, I think, maybe minimum 3 flights to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, that's a lot of money. But yes, Scotland and Italy, they're like the main 3 where I'm like, please and thank you, universe, I would love to go. It looks so cool, like the history of it all, and just to like walk up and around Edinburgh and just see, like, yeah, that's a castle.
That's a castle.
Like, that's cool.
Yes.
We've got like the old Melbourne jail. Like we don't have a castle.
Oh yeah.
We don't really have anything like that. It's just like we have old architecture in Melbourne, and when you walk around the city, like you can still see it in amongst all the modernized buildings. But yeah, you can't just go to a castle and just walk around it. We don't have a rich history compared to a lot of like European countries. Like we have Aboriginal history, which is beautiful yet so sad with what colonization did to them. But it's hard to get a grasp on all the history that happened. Whereas you hear a lot more and you see a lot more when it comes to European history. It's just fascinating.
That's true. One of the places that I did visit that wasn't certain on my bucket list, but my mom took me when I was a lot younger, Vietnam. I do suggest it's a good place to go. The dollar goes really far when I went, because literally like we did tours, we stayed in like a nice like hotel per se. I think the culture, man, it was so great. It's like literally like you would be in your house, like you would call down to the street and like there's a vendor like right probably like on the corner making food. So like they make the food and you just carry it back to your house and eat it there. So like it's just like I feel like the cultural aspect of Vietnam was very interesting when I first got there. And then we took a tour to the northern part. So like imagine south where it's Hanoi, it's very hot because like it's lower below sea level, or like it's not that narrow. It's like it's closer to sea level. But when you go up into the mountains, the climate's just right. It's so, but like there's one interesting place. It was called I forget what it's like, Dalat or something like that. But they had a mock of the Eiffel Tower because of course Vietnam was colonized. Well, not colonized, but Vietnam was like kind of like there's a lot of French influences. So
yes.
So that's why that was there. But it was a good experience to go, saying I've been to Vietnam, so I could see, how it was. But, do suggest if you guys ever need to go to some Asian country, Vietnam is the place to go, because it's very tourist friendly per se, and money goes a long way there. Alright, as we're talking about cultural differences and such, moving on to another topic, I found this interesting because being a child of Australia myself and going to the U.S., the slang. So like, there's a lot of slang terms that are different from Australian to the U.S. And like the one that I always have used and I still use to this day is no worries, because like that's just like ingrained in my head. But can you explain possible ones that we might not know of that you use on the regular, Penny, by chance?
I mean, sometimes, like, I don't realize it's an Australian thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we say, like, how you going?
How you
and
going?
I remember, like,
Oh,
it's like how are you? But you go, how you going?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, like, we'll say, how are you doing? They say, how are you going?
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, how you going? Yeah, I remember I would, like, back in retail days, I would serve a lot of tourists,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of Americans would come by and they go, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And they're like, "What? I'm not going. I'm trying to buy something." And you're like, "Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, you can buy it. What's happening?" It's just like this. You don't really think about it, that it's not like a
Not the
worldwide
norm.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently, you guys don't do the hip hip hooray after you sing happy birthday?
Do we?
No.
No?
No, we just sing happy birthday.
Yeah.
And then it's
You
over.
don't do the hip hip hooray?
No.
I do, and many more. I don't know. That's what I do at the end of that.
Yeah, there's like many more. Then people just like keep singing lyrics that are just making fun of the person, or like there's all sorts of different like things afterward. But I don't think I've ever heard hip hip hooray.
I've never heard hip hooray.
Really? I mean, I've
heard hip hip hooray for a lot of other things, just not there.
Not for birthdays, yeah.
There's just like one person that you don't nominate them, but they stand up like in the crowd. They're just like, "I got this," and they go hip hip, and then everyone else goes hooray, and they do that about 3 times, and then they blow out the candles.
What? Okay, I know that. That's interesting.
Oh,
I'm going to attempt to do that on the next birthday at my house.
Do it.
And just see how it goes.
There you go.
I'm gonna
on you as you yell out.
I'm gonna guarantee there are gonna be 4 women that are staring at me like, what the hell just happened?
Exactly. Well, if you didn't know, no worries, Perseverance, just to clarify. You know, it's no problem, it's okay, so no worries. As I usually say that a lot of times. Just as the people, it's fine, no worries.
No problem. That's not a problem. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I've heard no worries. Like, I've used no worries. That one is like, hip hip hooray is definitely more shocking to me than no worries.
Yeah. Anything else more shocking that we don't know, Penny, you think?
I mean, I say squiz.
Squeeze?
Wait, what?
Wait, what is that?
Like, oh, I'm gonna have a squiz, which is like, I'm just gonna have a look.
A squeeze? Okay.
A squiz. Like, SQUIZZ sort of thing. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna have a squiz.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a sus.
You
know, that sort of...
Wow.
Yeah, that sort of thing. What else do we do?
Well, here's a big one. Here's a big one that you do, and it's not just you, it's a lot of people, and you've already done it here. And that is, why do we call our Z's Z? You named, like, very few letters, you just named them. Like, not like A, B, you know, but then instead of like Z, like the rest of the letters, just like a normal T, you know, all these different letters. This one's Z. Like, it's got a name. Like...
Did I say Z?
Yeah, you said double Z.
Did I?
Double Z, yeah, you did.
When you were spelling squiz, you said double Z. And I'm like, this is like, I've never understood that. But I'm used to it because I watch like a lot of like Canadians and stuff, and they all use that also. Like, so, like, sometimes I even catch myself because I know, like, but whenever you look at, like, computers, NZXT, like, that is what I initially would have thought that it was, but sometimes I catch myself calling it NZXT because that's what all of them call it. And it's like, why do we call it this? I don't understand why we named Z.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go.
So how would you spell the letter Z? Well, let's spell it Z-E-D. Like,
Wow.
It's just because it seems a lot more final. You know, at the end of the alphabet, it's like NZ. Like we're done.
So I have
And then
another
there's like
one.
pronunciations too.
Oh, really?
Like with brands, like you say Nokia, is that right? For like the phone brand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nokia.
Nokia. What?
And we say Adidas. Do you say Adidas?
Adidas. Yeah. You say
Adidas,
Adidas?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Adidas?
good.
Wait, you say Adidas?
Yeah, Adidas.
What?
Look, they say aluminium or something like
I
that.
love
Okay.
it, yeah.
Oh, you say aluminum.
Aluminum, yes, because that's how it's spelled.
No, it's aluminium. It's literally we pronounce how it's spelled.
Wow. This
Oh,
one...
I discovered something too.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry,
go
I keep interrupting.
No, it's fine.
But I discovered something too. There's a Australian podcast that I watch, and they talk about differences between other countries around the world and what we do as Australians.
Uh-huh.
And you know those icy poles that are in the plastic, and you just like snip the top,
Mhm.
and you just like eat the icy pole through the plastic.
Yeah, like the
do
icy
you
pops?
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys call them freezies?
No,
Do we?
Okay, cool.
no.
No. I call them icy pops.
For us, they're
Or
like,
popsicles.
yeah,
Like,
okay.
those are like so that is actually, it really depends on your area, because like I've heard people call them freezies. I've heard it called icy pops.
Mhm.
We just call them ice pops.
Ice pops.
Like just
oh.
ice pop.
Ice
Alright.
pop.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
and so like I've seen actually a lot of different names for those. I watch a YouTube occasionally that's very similar where they talk about like English versus like British English.
Mhm.
Like and it's just so funny. Like some of the things that they call stuff, and I'm just like, why do they call that? Like what we call it makes so much more sense. Like it's some of the stuff that they call things, it's just like, that doesn't even make sense though. Like that's not even what that is.
I mean, sometimes the things that you say are very literal, like
Right.
a
Sure,
sidewalk, because you're walking on the side. Whereas for us, it's just like it's a path.
Yeah.
But you're like, it's a sidewalk.
Yeah.
not
But
in
I
the
mean,
middle
at least
walk.
that makes sense though.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's true. Let me tell you, Penny, my story from like when I
Yes.
came from the U.S. to Australia. Right, I was in grade school, so I was still in third grade. Right, I referred to the bathroom as the toilet, which is one
Yes.
thing, and then the trash can as the rubbish bin.
Yes,
See?
it's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. And people look at me like, "What is he talking about? Like rubbish bin,
Yeah, the trash can.
toilet, the trash can?" Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, just like some terminology stuck with me when I was a kid. So I was like,
Yeah,
gosh.
Like,
rubbish.
but the thing is that like some of that makes sense though. Like,
yeah.
like I don't get like the loo, but I guess over there they never called it a toilet. I guess, but like, I
Like
don't know.
loo is very country Australian. Like you don't
Australian.
you don't
What?
really. Well, yeah, like we like we know what it is, and like some people will say it, but we usually just say, "Oh, I'm just going to the toilet," sort of thing. Not really. I'm gonna head to the loo. Like it's not as common until you go to more country Australia. Like if you go to
Okay.
Darwin, Alice Springs, they're gonna be saying it constantly.
Yeah,
Like
true.
that's just Sheila's, blokes, all that jazz.
That one's
Like
I know.
they're gonna, like they're gonna be that. Those are main terms over there. Whereas we don't really say, I hung out with this Sheila the other day, and it's like, okay. Okay. It's
So wait, so
not
there's
as
kind of
common.
a standard. So like, if you go from like a country to a city, it's not as common some terms.
Yeah. Like I can't really speak for other cities in Australia because I
Yeah.
think like in America, different depends where you are.
Yeah, region
Like
wise.
some
Yeah.
people say soda, some people say pop,
Pop. Yeah.
fizz, that sort of thing. We sort of have that with some terms, like a potato cake. Do
hmm
you know what you guys have potato cakes, right?
What is a potato? Wait, what is a potato
Yes,
cake?
Oh, do you guys
yes,
not have
we have
oh,
potato cakes.
okay, cool.
Wait, what?
This is
Oh,
okay.
potato.
So
Oh, potato pancakes. Oh. Okay.
yes,
Potato
so
cake?
potato cakes. They okay. So they aren't very like. It's not a commonplace. So whenever
Okay.
you say a potato cake, like I know it because it's like my grandma's from a southern area, and southern areas they do have some potato cakes, but
Mhm.
whereas like up here, if I was like where I'm at, if I was to say potato cakes, I would say that there's a 75% chance they're not going to know what I'm talking about.
Wow.
So yeah, there are some foods like and like so and I don't know if Ty can knows what this is, but I'll say like a gooey butter cake.
I do not know what that is. What's a gooey butter
I
cake?
know you don't. I know you don't know what it is because
Okay.
you're not from the South.
Ah, there you go.
So
Hey.
so the gooey butter cake is freaking phenomenal. First
Okay.
off,
I
I
mean, it
don't
sounds
have
pretty
any
great.
idea. I have no idea how it's made, but I know that it's made with butter and it's gooey and it's got powdered sugar on top and like a crust on the bottom, and it
Ooh.
tastes phenomenal.
That sounds
But
really good.
I've never made one, so I don't know anything about like what's actually in it. I just know that
Mhm.
it's sweet as hell and really good.
Oh,
uh, but like it's like one of like it's like a southern dessert that like if you say it even in the States, like there's a good chance if they're not from the Midwest or from like mid South, then they're not gonna know what you're talking about. Gooey butter cake, what's that?
True.
To the point where like whenever Nuka and I went down to visit some friends in Georgia, they had no idea what we were talking about, and we made it for them, and they were like, "This is the bomb. How in the world have I never heard of a gooey butter cake?"
Oh, dang.
But
I gotta go ask my roommate, the person from the sourdough. You ever heard of gooey butter cake? I have no idea. Okay. But yeah.
But yeah, back to potato cake. Because gooey butter
uh-huh.
cake sounds phenomenal. I'm gonna look it up after this podcast. Um, uh, I'm pretty sure New South Wales, they say potato scallop, and I think in
Okay.
Adelaide too, they say potato scallop rather than potato cake. And like taco, we say tacos, but up in New South Wales, it's taco.
So it's shortened?
Taco.
Taco?
Yeah, a taco.
A
They pronounce it like
taco.
that.
What?
A taco.
Yeah. Huh. This is very
Yeah, so
interesting.
it's same with like America. It depends where you are, that
That's true.
pronunciations are
The
different
Yeah.
pronunciation's
too.
gonna change.
Yeah.
But the one I
So
looked
like
up.
what
Oh, right.
like one of them that like made sense though, going back to the British versus American English, is
Mhm.
like have you ever heard of French toast?
Yes.
Okay, I had never heard of eggy bread, which is apparently the same thing.
Oh, eggy
I've never
bread.
heard the term eggy
Yeah,
bread,
so
but it
no,
really is the same thing.
Yeah,
it is,
imagine
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
eggy bread is literally like, I mean, whenever you say it, it's like, oh, I mean, it makes sense, but
It
like,
is.
but like, I don't know. Yeah, it's always called French toast whenever I was growing up.
Yeah. Eggy
but
bread.
eggy bread, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That makes
that's
Eggy. I mean, it's literally, it is just what it is. Like, it is very
yeah,
to the point. It is what it is.
it's just you take your bread, you lather it up in some egg,
Oh,
and then you fry it in a pan. Eggy bread.
Eggy bread. Oh, I kind of want to call it eggy bread now. To be honest, I kind of like it.
Eggy
But
bread.
so we
Wow.
call so like the thing that gets me, the one that really doesn't make sense to me, and I'm
Oh, the
sure
book.
like
$2.
people are not gonna agree with me, I guess, but like
Then
chips,
Oh, no.
right?
Ooh.
You did. There's
Yes.
like nothing left though.
Like-
clear down.
Like you want some
But
fish and
they,
chips?
the,
You talking about the French fries,
the
like
cup.
fries, like
Is that what you wanted?
Oh.
fried
I
potatoes?
love that thing.
Okay.
That color
Like
is
I
so
I
good.
get
Ran
it.
across the
I
wrong
get
story,
that
yeah,
crisp
for sure.
are your chips.
Oh. No, we don't call
But-
them crisps.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
very
you don't?
English.
That's great.
No.
Okay.
They're chips.
Oh no,
They're
we're
just
just on
chips.
podcast.
And then
We're
we
just
have
talking.
hot chips, which are just
Calling you
chips.
rat and y'all in your pocket.
It's just
Oh,
it's
wait.
a broad
You
term,
wanna-
but chips
wait.
has a lot of meaning. It's great.
Oh, okay.
Let's say hi though.
Alright, hold on.
Don't you in America you have crisp on the side? There's like a side dish.
Oh, wait.
You can ask for that. Oh,
Hold
sorry.
on. Can I pause 1 second? So, what was the
Yeah,
what was
of
the bread
course.
again? What was the bread again? Was it gooey?
Eggy bread,
No,
Eggy
the other
bread.
before that.
gooey butter cake.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask this person here that's in the room. Gooey butter cake. Is that a southern thing? Gooey butter cake.
Oh, there's gooey. There is something. It's gooey, and it's like it's almost like a brownie. It's
Gooey
almost
like a
like a
brownie.
cake
Uh-huh.
kind of brownie
Yep.
thing. And it is gooey. I
Yep.
think I know what it's called, but I don't know the actual name of it.
So it does exist though.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, confirmed. It does exist in the South.
Yes, it's so that's the thing
It's
is
delicious
like
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's the thing is from that area, like that eastern, from like that eastern area. Yeah. That like a lot of people haven't heard of it. They might have slightly, but
Mhm.
like as the further inland you get in the south, the more likely they are to have heard of gooey butter. But
Okay.
yeah, it is delicious. It's very much the consistency of like a brownie, and
Oh, wow.
and it.
I'm looking
and
it up
has,
now.
like, oh, it's great. It's just
Oh.
fantastic.
Oh, it looks so good.
It's like
Hold on.
it's like a gooey brownie, but like it's like butter and like it's got like I said
Hold on.
that like it's got like that like the like breading type like
Oh, powdered sugar? Sorry, I'm looking at
yeah,
the video.
powdered sugar on top. Oh,
What?
look at this. Look at this. It's so good.
Wait, hold on. Let me look at the actual image. Whoa, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
It is there. Gooey butter cake.
It's like the best and worst thing ever because
I could
it's the best
imagine.
because it tastes so good, and it's the worst because I know that I'm gonna have a stomach ache and feel like I'm gonna throw up when I'm done eating it, but I
Dang.
can't stop.
Dang. I have to check this out.
So worth it.
Is this so worth it?
Yes, so worth it.
Alright, but in terms of one thing, I wanted to ask because I looked this up as an example, but gala? Is that something that Australians use as a term? It's on a website, so I don't know if you can comment.
Like a galah?
A gala, yeah. Like a cockatoo?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bird. Yeah.
But how is that in reference in slang? Like, why would you call someone a gala?
Oh, you go, oh, you galah.
That's it?
You gotta have it with like the twang too, but yeah,
That's
it's
right.
like
Alright.
it's sort of like, hang on, it's like you galah, like you nada, you
Oh, okay.
you silly Billy.
Makes sense.
Like-
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm
The,
pretty sure that's it. Yeah.
Okay. But then I saw something like Aussie salute. Is this just get away with flies? Is that what you're doing? With an Aussie salute? Or you've never heard that one?
Aussie salute?
I don't know. It's just something to wave
An
flies
Aussie
away.
salute.
I have no idea.
Oh,
Let me look this up. Let me look this up.
an Aussie salute. I'm thinking just like a hand to the forehead, you know, like a salute. But yeah, I don't know about an Aussie salute. Is it like the passerby head nod? You know, like the pleasantry? Like,
Oh, it's like a gesture commonly deployed across the street to deter bush flies. Here, let me show you a picture.
is it just like swiping the air?
Let me see. Like that. You see that one here? You see that? Like swiping in the air. Like try to get rid of bush flies. No? Never heard that?
No.
It's like
That might be
there is-
very country Australia though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
look,
don't know that one.
Yeah, like, let me see. So, like, yeah, so, like, so I guess for bush flies makes sense, because it says to, okay. Alright, I guess I never heard that one. So I guess it is region-based on some slang terms. But the one
Yeah.
terms, like, I know you've probably heard a lot of, like, a lot of American terms, but have you heard, like, copium?
No?
No?
Copium?
So, let me how to
Like,
describe copium.
You're coping with something?
Pretty
Or-
much. Let
Yeah?
me see.
That's real copium, bro.
Yeah, like a fictional or,
Oh.
like, you know, it's a fictional or metaphorical opiate in order to cope with one face of loss or delusionment. So yeah. Like, let's say if I never, like, the one thing my friends bring up, well, one of my friends brings up, if I never play this game ever again, Sherlock Holmes, copium for tired, never finishing games. I'm like, low blow, sir. That is correct. Copium. I do have.
Oh.
So, like, delusionment, like, here, if you see on my chat, here, I'll show you. The icon is typically like that. Hold on, if you see it. So, like, I got the Peggy with, like, the inhaler and, like, taking copium. Yeah, so so yeah, some U.S. slang is probably not as common in the U.S., of course, but dude should be pretty common, right? Like, you guys heard dude before? Like, call
Yeah,
someone
dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
we say that.
yeah, dude. And then do you
It's
guys,
more mate, but yeah.
yeah,
Dude.
and like white collar. You ever heard white collar?
Yes.
There
Yeah.
is. So some kind of universally
Yeah.
translate back and forth. So, but it's interesting conversation, like cultural differences and regions. Now we know about gooey bread
Yeah.
and eggy bread and different foods. But yeah.
Yes, eggy
Do-
bread.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. All right. So the next
Yeah.
section is a question, and Purpose always takes this because he never does the homework. And ask me anything question from Purpose.
Ooh.
Okay, so my ask me anything question is for Penny. And
Okay.
the question is that you can remember, what was your most emotional response to like a video game event?
Did you see the clips that we played before we started?
I did. But, you know, that might not be the most
Yeah, that might not be the
emotional
most
response
emotional.
that you
That's
can
true.
remember.
That is true.
Feeling a little cold out here. No, I mean you've seen one, and that was in Ghost of Tsushima. That one, it broke me. Kage, my best friend, yeah, that really hurt. I don't want to give like spoilers or anything. I mean, the Ghost of Tsushima's been out for a few years now, but
Yeah, it's fair game.
it's just
Yeah.
yeah. So at some point the horse may die, and it's really sad,
Oh.
and it's unexpected, because you're 2/3 of the way in it, and then the horse unfortunately has its time, and then it just goes straight to Act 3, and you're like, wait. I need time to process what just happened.
Wait, we
This
just
is
go
out of the
straight
blue.
into the next act?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And it starts off at the grave, and you're like, what?
It's like, wait a minute,
so
you
confronting.
sons of bitches did this to me?
Yeah. Off stream though, there was there was another one on stream, and that was Life is Strange 2, and it's another animal, and it's really, really sad. A little dog. And I don't know if you've ever played Life is Strange 2,
I have.
but
Yeah.
you have? Okay.
Mhm.
I hate it. I hate the game.
Oh,
Out of all the Life is Strange, it's the worst in my opinion. But yeah, I think you play a main character, and your brother is the one with all the powers, and you're
Mhm.
just basically babysitting the entire time.
mhm.
And your brother's annoying. It's just like, okay. And your brother pretty much essentially is the cause of this cute little dog's death, Mushroom. If you've ever joined a stream and Mushroom gets brought up, that is why. Because that was a very sad time. I think that was when Pennycries really Penny cried.
Pennycries,
Like,
yeah.
she had to turn off the stream. She was like, I'm done. I
Mhm.
can't do it. but off stream, I'd say Walking Dead Telltale, that first season.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one. And
Yeah.
Clementine and Lee, what a duo. So good. And Last of Us Part 2. That one, I had to... again, it's been out for a few years, so I don't want to spoil,
Fair
but
game.
at
Go ahead.
this point, you know, right?
Yeah, we know.
Like,
Everyone knows
it's
me now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Joel and his demise. It's just really sad. Because you wait, what, like 7-8 years for this part 2, and you've been wanting to play these two characters for so long, and then your favorite character just dies in front of you like 2 hours in, and you're like, what?
Exactly.
I waited 7 years for this?
And then you get to play this random character. You're like, who the hell is this? Yeah.
And like, I have to play as this murderer of my favorite character? What is this?
Exactly.
Naughty Dog, what are you doing to me?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
That's a good one.
Yeah, that one I had to pause the game, had to go get some water, sit, contemplate, and then half an hour later went back and went, alright, we're doing this. Okay.
Well, there you go.
It's cool.
There you go.
But yeah. Have you
Alright,
guys
cool.
had any games where you're just like, whew, I'm done. I'm that sad.
Yeah, one. Only one. And it gets me every time the Aerith dies. I played that game so many times, and every time I play Final Fantasy VII, and Aerith dies, and I'm just like, there was a point in time whenever like I was younger, and I was just like, where I just refused to put her in my party. If I had a choice, she was not in my party because after the first time, I knew that she was dying, and I just didn't want to become invested in that character again. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter that I wasn't invested in the character because it still got me every time.
Yeah, like you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Like I'm prepared for this now. I know it's coming, and then every time you're like, well, I'm broken.
There she goes again.
There she goes. I don't know, for me personally, if I've ever had one that kind of affected me. I feel like for me it's just like, I don't know, I feel like detailed story and like it's just progression of the story going forward. But I feel one thing that's sticking to my mind is playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I got so attached to my horse. The horse died. It's always the horse. Like, because you ride the horse around, you're doing all the things. I don't know why it's the horse.
The horse.
It's like the horse was so, like, my main companion for the whole game. But then, literally, like, what? You kill the horse? I'm like, no. That's fine.
It's just unnecessary.
Yeah, it's always the horse. I don't know why. But yeah. Alright, in terms of moving on, to keep things moving, so we're at 122, so a couple more sections to go. Just want to kind of throw together kind of like something, like your favorite thing right now. Like, could be something you do, something you owe, something you do on a regular basis, and something you don't mind sharing with the podcast. I know I've heard many things of purposes of what he likes to do this week, because we always talk about what you're making giddy this week. But Penny, what is something of your favorite that you, or something you do, or something you owe that's your favorite thing at the moment?
Well, I binge watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was a rewatch. Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it so much, so I gave it a rewatch. But I had never watched Korra before, and so I binged that and watched that all in one big hit. It was a great time, and so I finished that. And so all I've got on the mind is Korra and Aang and the gang, and just so that's like my favorite thing at the moment. I literally bought the graphic novel after Korra, the series, the TV series. I bought it last night, so that's coming in the mail soon, and I get to continue the adventures.
Nice.
It got a lot of hate, and I didn't understand why Korra got a lot of hate. I really enjoyed Legend of Korra.
I can honestly say that I haven't watched it.
What? You haven't watched it either? Oh no.
I mean, I watched all of The Last Airbender, but I just, at that point in my life, whenever it came out, I just Like I was totally oblivious to that it had come out because I just wasn't keeping up with anime whatsoever. So
Mhm.
I didn't know that it came out. I had no idea about it, and I was only recently exposed to that it even existed,
Right.
and I just have not gotten around to
Oh,
ever
dang.
watching it.
But
That's
we're
fair
not,
Like,
enough.
but we're not going to talk about M. Night
it,
Shyamalan and his rendition of that movie. We're not
No,
going to talk
no,
about
we're
that.
not.
yeah, let's.
That
Why'd you? I think that we all knew that we weren't going to talk about
Yeah.
it, and then you brought it up anyway.
I just have to point it out because, like,
I
it does
spent
exist.
money.
I spent
money
my
on that
hard.
film.
I spent my hard-earned dollars on that film.
It's a good
I
series.
was in the
too.
cinema watching
Cinema
it,
watching
and
it.
as soon as they said instead of ang, I was like,
Oh,
oh no, we're done
whoa,
for.
we're done.
Oh,
Here
this is
we
it.
go. Yeah, I had the same experience. I was sitting at the theater, and I'm just like, oh,
the one
how
thing
did
though,
this happen?
I know it's like Hollywood, man. They whitewash a lot of things in Hollywood, just to be bluntly honest. But have you guys seen the live action Airbender cast for Netflix? They're doing it right.
Yes.
I'm just saying. So I'll
Yes.
have to see when it comes out. 'cause
I'm
I
very
think
keen.
I'm very excited to see when that comes out, to see how well put to the story they put it. Because like even watching like for anything like adaptations, The Last of Us when they adapted to HBO, ooh, that was so good. Like on point.
So good.
Yeah. So good exactly. So when they adapted that. But yeah. So all right. So you binge watched Avatar and Korra, and then do you?
Mhm.
Oh, so the graphic novel. I would spin into like
Yeah.
what happens, but you haven't seen the graphic novel yet, so I won't go any further with that. Okay.
All I
Okay.
know is like Korosami is thriving, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's a good
To see their
show.
love.
It's so good indeed. All right, so in terms of something favorite right now, I guess it's kind of hard to say. Like the only thing, one of my favorite items so far is my sister brought back, which is in arm's reach. Don't yell at me, because I haven't put it up yet. But it's from Hawaii. So I'm showing to the chat and everyone's watching. It's a little vial of sand from the Hawaiian Islands. I know this is very chalky and very touristy, but I love things where like it's from somewhere else in the world that I have not visited ever. But she knows I like stuff like this where it's like things like that. But in terms of like one of that and like something that I've been kind of like, cause like, alright, so Vinny and Penny knows this and Purpose not as much, but when you're a streamer, like typically like games you play, you usually play online because that's the only time you ever get to play them. But I found a game that I was playing a little bit before we started because I was like, I'm just gonna take a break and play Dave the Diver while I'm waiting for Penny to come back from getting her headphones or wherever she was going. Yeah. So David Dive is fun. If you play, it's like there's so much lore to Dave the Diver, and you just go around and shooting the fish and fishing, and like sometimes the sharks eat you, But then you die. You don't die. You lose oxygen, but then miraculously you appear on the surface.
Oh.
So you appear back on the surface like puffing, and like you lose everything except for one thing. But David Diver has been playing off stream, and it's been pretty hilariously fun. And like a good way to break the day up. I take like one day fishing and then, alright, time back to work. So I just did like a day of fishing of that. But it's an interesting thing so far is keeping me occupied currently. Anything for you, Purpose, that you'd like to share that you've been doing?
So, I have, I've already kind of gotten into all the schooling and all the stuff with work, so I have been pretty busy, but whenever I'm not busy, I've continued playing some Diablo 4. I know that it's not very popular to think that it's a good game, but I think it's a good game. I think that some people I understand there's some people that have valid points that I'm sure I'll run into whenever I'm 500 hours into a game that's been out for 4 weeks, but I'm not that far. I'm still at the point where I feel like I'm having fun, and I think that the backlash for the way that things were handled with season 1, I get it, but I think that I think they actually made a big misstep. Like if you're not in the know on the Diablo stuff, the happenings in Diablo, if you haven't been up to all the drama in the Diablo world, everybody pretty much like piled on to the developers because there were some things that were flawed, and like you can tell they're flawed, but like you can play the game through the flaws and whatnot. And like I said, if you play for like hundreds of hours, I'm sure that it's gonna eventually get to you. But the game's been out for like at this point like 2 weeks whenever all this started coming up, and it was like maybe we should give them time because they are like this is one of those like active models where they're constantly putting out updates and patches and things. So give them some time to fix some stuff. And they are definitely listening, and I think that they overreacted a little bit to concerns of the community. So whenever they like announced their first season and like the first big patch, the patch was like there were a lot of nerfs to a lot of stuff, including characters that were like the least powerful characters in the game. And like I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with all of the nerfs that they made, but their reaction was, well, from here on out we are never doing a patch like this again. If we are going to nerf things, we're going to buff things to make things like more fun for the players. And I think that's a misstep. Why do I think that's a misstep? Because in these types of games, like if you play them a lot, then the only way to keep the game from just like eventually being absolutely broken is to have these nerf patches. Like you have to have a patch where you can just come in and normalize everything to where you want to balance from. And if you can't do that because you've promised the community that you're not going to do it anymore, that can cause a problem down the road. Like, because you're going to, like, so I use Path of Exile because they've been doing it the longest in this type of style, but, like, basically, whenever they were, like, every 3 or 4 patches, they'll do a nerf patch, because everything that they've released in the past, like, couple patches have just, like, power crept the game. And you don't want to just continually power creep the game until it's just like everything. The only way to balance the characters is just make everything a one shot. It's going to kill you every time. That's not fun, right? Like, no one wants that. And so, like, or to overtune like bosses and enemies to a point where those bosses and enemies, like, they just, like, you have to have like far too much damage, because the small percentage of people that play that game like no life nonstop, like, are going in and one-shotting bosses that are like your uber bosses, the big bosses, and like they're going in and one-shotting them. And it's like, if you don't have the ability to nerf and make sure that doesn't happen, then it's just going to cripple your design ability, right? And so I think that was definitely a misstep on their part to promise, well, we're going to buff things every time we nerf things. Like, no, don't do that. Like, you have to be okay with, like, the problem that they had is they did it on their first big patch. Like,
oh, wow,
no one wants
really?
to see that, right? Like, that was their on their first big patch, they made this big nerf thing, like, did these big, like, arcing nerfs over everything, and they nerfed a lot of things that, like, the problem is like, so for example, Sorcerer is the least powerful character. So, in, like, to combat that it's so weak, what players would do is they would be like, okay, for defense, we have to stack as much armor as we can, because the sorceress is an int class, and the int class gets, like, with their base stat, they get resistances. The developers didn't realize that there's a flaw somewhere in their resistance calculations and whatnot. Like, resistances are just dog shit. They're not good. They don't do what they've always done in their games, which is, like, actually make it so that you take far less damage from, like, specific types of damage. And so, like, since the sorceress was in this particular spot, she's the weakest character because she dies to literally everything. And there's nothing you can do about the character dying because, you know, the base defensive mechanic is broken on that character. So people would be like, okay, well, we have to do as much as we can to stack other stuff to make her, like, more tanky and actually be able to live. Well, they nerfed a lot of that stuff. Not because of the sorceress, but because it was the best in the game and the most powerful characters were using it. And so it just, like, happened to nerf the sorceress too. And then the best way to get damage, again, for the sorceress, was also the best way to get damage on every other character class. And the way that they decided that they were going to design the sorceress was the sorceress had this cool mechanic where, like, you give up a little bit, like, you nerf your character in one way to make them, like, more powerful in another way, right? Only class like that. And so what everyone found is basically, well, that's not the best way to build the sorceress. The best way to build the sorceress is vulnerable damage because it's busted and everybody knows it's busted. It's the best way to scale in the game. And crit damage, which is the same. So, like, that's just the best way to do everything. And so they nerfed it. And so now the sorceress is literally worthless because that was the only way you could build a sorceress. So they nerfed these things, but their idea was, well, we're going to come back and we're going to, like, they had been making changes to, like, buff the sorceress, but they didn't release them at the same time. So it was like, everyone just looked at it, at the patch, and they were just like,
I can see that.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
And they did the same thing to Barbarian, which was, like, an okay class, but, like, then they nerfed the shit out of it, and it was like, why are we in this position? And, like, so, you know, their knee-jerk reaction is, you know, their game's been out for 2 weeks, they announce all these changes, and then, like, everyone's just like, all the big streamers that are streaming it are just like, I'm done. You know, everyone starts running away from the game because, you know, but, again, for me, I've loved it. I haven't gotten to that point. I think that a lot of their fixes that they're making, they're being very vocal with the community. They did a live stream today. They did a live stream last Friday. Like, they've been very vocal and communicating and saying, you know, we're fixing this, guys. You know, we're working on. We understand why you're not having fun. We understand what we did wrong. I just wish that they hadn't have said we're not going to do nerf patches anymore, because I feel like that ultimately that just leads to what we had with D3, where in Diablo 3, like, you literally are hitting things for billions and trillions of damage, and, like, you're, like, it just felt weird for a video game.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And then also, I actually had to pause the live stream that I was watching to come into the podcast, because currently in Auckland, New Zealand, they're hosting ExileCon, and I like Path of Exile, so that's really cool. And so, like, they made some cool announcements for that. So
Nice.
I'm really excited for that, even though I haven't gotten to deal with it very much, because they're doing a lot of stuff to do with Path of Exile 2 and the next Path lead down there, and it all looks really cool, and I'm really excited. I'm kind of stoked because they announced that Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2 are not going to be the same game, which was their initial. Like, initially they were going to do, like, the Overwatch thing where they're just like, and it evolved into the second version of the game.
No.
But then they're like, so now instead, if I understand it correctly, it'll be the same, like, in the same game, like, there won't be two different launchers or anything, but you'll select, am I playing Path of Exile or Path of Exile 2, and, like, you'll have characters based on which one you're playing and stuff like that, but you'll still have, like, all your microtransactions from like Path of Exile 1 will be good to use in Path of Exile 2. Not necessarily the other way around if there's like microtransactions in Path of Exile 2 for like skills or something that don't exist in Path of Exile 1, because there will be that type of thing. So like most of your microtransactions though will be like interchangeable, and then also like they announced like like some seriously cool like game mechanic changes and stuff. So I'm super stoked for that. I can't wait. Like they got right now where I'm at in the stream. The stream didn't start until like I don't know, like 5:30 for me. So, you know, I'm currently at a part where Twitch streamer Kriparian is interviewing one of the lead devs of Path of Exile 2, and I can't wait to see what they got to talk about and all that. It's gonna be so awesome. I'm a big ARPG fan, so you know I play a lot of games. You know, Genshin.
I'm just gonna catch your segment though, but you can continue.
Yeah, Vampire Survivors. You know, I play a lot of different games, RPGs, ARPGs.
Have you even gone back to Genshin in a while? Because I feel like you've been on Diablo for.
So with Genshin, it's been like I said last time, it's kind of like one of those I'm playing D4. So I log into Genshin, I do my dailies, I do any of the events they have going on, but they don't have any new story going on right now. Like I'm caught up on all my story, so I have nothing to do like in that particular area. So I get to just keep up with my dailies, keep building primo gems and stuff, so that whenever I actually think that the new patch comes out either this Tuesday or next Tuesday, I can't remember which, but whenever that drops and we get it, like I'm pretty sure this is the one where we get like the next big area, like the next large continent and everything. So then I'll be super busy into Genshin again, and we'll have a bunch of characters and all that stuff. So I'll be digging into that pretty deep until Starfield comes out, and then I'll hit Starfield up pretty hard whenever it releases.
Oh, side tangent note real quick, because I know Purpose will have words with this. I made Penny play Tunic, but she never finished it.
No. So I was playing it and I was enjoying it.
Finish?
Yes, explain why I didn't finish.
So I was having a busy time in my life, and I need to have my wits about me when I play it, because I need to be smart about my strategy. And every time I would go to stream, I would be knackered. I'd be so tired. And so I would put on like Fortnite, or like Call of Duty, or just something easy to sort of numb my mind and not have to think about what strategy I'm going to put through. But I did love it, and I am going to finish it, Ty. Just call me out like that. I am going to finish it.
I'm waiting for that every day. I see you stream pop-up. Is she playing Tunic? No.
So...
What?
I am actually, that's another game that I'm looking at again. And the reason that I'm looking at it again, I don't know if you're familiar with this community, but have you ever heard of the randomizer community?
No.
Randomizer, no.
Okay, so there's a community, and for the most part, a lot of the randomizer that you get is for like your like NES, SNES, like all the older like console games. But I don't know how, but they randomized Tunic. So basically the first randomizer that I learned of was The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which was my favorite Legend of Zelda game.
Okay.
And the idea of the randomizer was, like, in the beginning, was you start at Link's house, you go and open the chest, and in the chest is the lamp, right? Well, I go to Link's house, I open the chest, and it's the hook shot, which you don't get until way later, right? And
Sure.
so the idea of the game is that they have made a logic
Mhm.
which says that this chest requires that you have these items. And so the game's logic, like whenever the game is generated, because you go onto a website and have a seed generated for you,
Mhm.
the logic like has to work. And so there's not a way that you could not complete the game, but you're going to have to complete the game very much out of order. And it may
Oh.
be very hard because sometimes you may have to fight something like Mothula that like has like a lot of health and is a very like tough boss, and you may have to fight that boss whenever you have like 4 hearts as Link with like a
That
a
makes the game really
random a
hard, I
couple.
imagine.
Yeah, so it could make the game really hard. Now
Uh,
they do have like different like difficulties, so like there's some difficulties where it's like you have to know how to use glitches and stuff like that, but they've gotten ridiculous with this. So initially it was just you like randomized chess. Then someone decided, wouldn't it be cool if when I walked into a door, I didn't know where the door was taking me?
mm.
And so, like, if I walked into the castle door, I may end up in, Turtle Rock Dungeon. And so, but then it uses that same logic. There has to be a way to get to the items that you need to progress further in the game. Then they took it from there, and they were like, what if, like, there's certain enemies that drop items in the game. What if we included them in the drop pool for where your items would be? So it's not just when you open chests, it's when you kill guards and stuff. And then it was like, oh, but there's certain pots that have items under them. So it just became like crazy. And then somebody noticed, they were looking at the code of the game, and they were like, well, these sectors of the RAM are used in Legend of Zelda, and it just so happened that the opposite sectors were used in Super Metroid. And so they're like,
What?
wouldn't it be cool if whenever you walk into the save room of Super Metroid, you came out of your house as Link and Legend of Zelda? And so they made a crossover game where
What?
you could find Legend of Zelda items in Metroid, and you could find Metroid items in Legend of Zelda, and you have to beat both bosses to complete the game. And it's just silly. The randomizer community is silly. So that was the first big one, was those two. And
Right.
and then it went to Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It went to Super Mario, where you you never knew what level you were going to in Super Mario. They have there's so many different games they do this on. So they did it with Tunic. And so you open a treasure chest in Tunic, and you don't know what item you're getting. You don't know what you're getting out of your chest. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay. I really enjoyed playing some Legend of Zelda randomizer, and I super love Tunic. I wonder how much I'll hate it whenever this hard this hard game gets even harder, because I get random ass items and random ass spots. Which, it's really cool though, because that community it heavily crosses over with the speedrunning community.
Mhm.
So they'll be racing each other a lot and stuff, and so I've learned a whole lot of background mechanics of how games work
Yeah.
on those older systems just by watching that community, and also playing it. To do my first ever hover, I was just like, dude, that was so awesome. I just walked over a hole because I had the boots, and I broke the game. That was awesome. Or being able learning how to do certain clips and stuff like that. these glitches that speedrunners use, like, and it's like I'm not nearly as good as the guys who actually know what they're doing, but like to be able to do it and do it sometimes, like my older brother, I was playing it at my mom's house one day. I had it on, like I had a I because it makes a ROM file for you, so like I have my Raspberry Pi. I'm like, I'm gonna load that ROM up on my Raspberry Pi so that I can, I can play it while I'm at my mom's house, while the girls are out fishing and stuff. And like, we were having a whole day over there, and I got it up on the screen, and my brother's like, "Wait, that's not where that item belongs." Like, I played this game so many times as a kid, and then he's like, "How did you just do what you just did?" Like, and it's like he's like. Like at one point he actually said to me, he's like, it's really cool. I played this game for so many years of my life, and just to watch my brother just absolutely break this game. And I'm just thinking, dude, you haven't even seen breaking this game. Like, I'm just scratching the surface here. So yeah, very, very cool. And if you ever, like, if you're into those types of games, definitely look into the randomizer community. You do have to like supply your own like base ROM, so like they'll tell you what ROM you have to have, because you technically need to back up your own game in order to do this type of thing legally. And they're not going to give you a copy of the ROM. But if you were to happen across a copy of the ROM from somewhere that wasn't your own cartridge, I'm not telling anybody. So,
okay. All right.
I own the game, and I know that I own the game, and if they say, well, you still downloaded the ROM, well, I still own the damn game, so...
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Wow. I'll look it up. That seems interesting, like, to go back to an old game and, like, totally have it be randomized and, like, cross over to, like, Super Metroid and Zelda. Ooh. That seems like a very interesting.
It's really cool.
So if you want to see any of that gameplay, it's so A Link to the Past, SM3, right? So it would be ALTTP/SM3 is what you would search for, and that's just A Link to the Past / Super Metroid 3, and
I see it. Randomizer, yeah.
So yeah, that is the randomizer, and you can watch, like, there's tons of people out there that run it. My personal favorite, I love watching Andy, because like they also, like, whenever you make up the game, you can make the like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, like you could not randomize it and just like change like sprites and stuff too, like on their website. So like Andy's like sprite is a little pug dressed up like Link, and it's just the cutest little pug ever, and I love it. And Andy's entertaining and he's good, so I like watching Andy. But yeah, there's tons of people out there that play it, and they have like a super active community. Their Discord community's got races going on like literally all the time. It's just crazy. They have like tournaments all the time and stuff. Just bunch of people having fun, and to see like that community, like the support and love that they show each other and stuff. And it's such a, there's like no hate in the community whatsoever. It's like everybody's just constantly lifting each other up and like encouraging each other, helping each other.
Yeah.
It's just the coolest community I've ever seen online. Like it's awesome. So
I'll check it out. All right, so counts as your segment. I'm just letting you know.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, my Genshin segment. So I did my dailies, and then the next day I did my dailies. I've been working on getting all my characters to level 90 with my dailies.
So there you go. All right, so kind of to backtrack slightly, but a question for Penny, because I don't think I ever asked you or ever knew when you started. How did you get into streaming? Like, what was your first endeavor and foray into that?
It was COVID. So
Just
we were in
COVID
the
too?
month
Oh,
of
yeah.
COVID. Yeah. And one of my best friends was living in Korea at the time.
Mhm.
And so you would know her, Kielski.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we would like be chatting and stuff, and I had already gamed, just like as a gamer does, and I thought, why not stream it, give it a crack, and she also wanted to give it a crack, and we'd play our solo games, but then we would play like Dead by Daylight together, and that was like a lot of our streams would be Dead by Daylight because it was a way for us to play together, and it was like a way to hang out whilst the madness of COVID went rampant around the world, and that was that was pretty much, it was just like a
That's
way
really-
to
Makes sense.
just a way to hang with my friends, and then I made more friends along the way, and I think
Yeah.
that helped me continue streaming, like
Yeah.
yourself. You were a big part of the Twitch journey, and like we're very grateful that you popped up. Thank you, Gishi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gishi
Mhm.
for running some time in my life. It's great.
It's like literally every time Penny's up, I'm
yeah.
like, I'm still in bed, but I will pull you up. Yeah. Yeah.
Time differences suck.
I know they do.
Yeah, like meeting Alex, like Alex OK,
Mhm.
who you know,
Yep.
he found Keely through the forest. And that's sort of how I came about being
Oh,
friends with
nice.
Alex, and we all came together, and that brought other communities with each other. I think it's really the community that keeps you going
Oh,
when
yeah, of course.
streaming, like because you can game anytime, right?
Oh, yeah,
like
exactly.
you don't have to go live, but it's the people that you stream with or stream for
Mhm.
that kind of keeps you going. But
Exactly.
it was more just like to hang out with my friend. I think my first game was Little Nightmares 2
Oh,
that
classic.
I played. And I'm pretty sure there's some clips on my channel, and it's me not knowing what a clip is. It's literally silence on the menu screen. I didn't know
Really?
I
I
clicked
gotta
it,
look at
but
this
it's
later.
but I keep it on there. It's like like a random memory, or like
Oh,
I'm in
I was gonna
amongst
say
it,
she
and
keeps
it's
it on
like,
there because she doesn't know how to delete it. It's still there 'cause I didn't know we could delete it.
pretty much.
It's one of those things you never learn as a streamer. What is clipping and how does clips work and why do I have random clips of shit? No, it's everywhere,
Oh, something's randomly clip, and I still don't get it.
Yeah,
I've
I
been
don't
streaming
get it.
for what, like 2 years now, and I still don't know. It just
Exactly.
happens.
Exactly. Alright, let's try to wrap this up because we're almost at time. So another part of this segment is what is making you giddy this week, or could be happy, could be anything. It's kind of maybe on lines the favorite thing or whatever you're doing, but Petty, what is making you giddy this week?
Well, Legend of Korra.
No, of course.
It's like the big thing. Oh, I got a delivery yesterday of a Walking Dead Telltale vinyl. It's like the pack of all the games.
Alright.
And I don't have a vinyl player, but it was really cool, so I got it. And I opened it up last night, and it's really, really cool. And I keep looking at it. Yeah, that's making me a little giddy, a little happy
Okay.
chap.
Purpose?
Yeah.
Besides the job? Anything else?
Yeah, I was gonna say I have exhaustively talked about.
You
Like,
talked about it.
everything. Yeah, I mean the job, the being through or getting my certificate, D4, the stuff with ExileCon going on right now.
Nice.
I mean, there's just so much. We haven't had the kids for the past 2 weeks, so that's been kind of like, after being 14 years always having kids around, like getting 2 weeks off is just like it felt kind of crazy. Like, not that I want it
Right.
all the time, obviously, but like it was kind of cool to just have some time to ourselves, even though it was mostly filled with work and adulting and whatnot. But still, like, yeah, I mean, it's just a good week in general. We're
Nice.
just happy over here and Purpose World.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, that's so wholesome and nice.
I'm more of like adulty and paying for stuff. I'm like, what is this? I gotta pay for. But the only thing, one of the things that really put like a smile to my face, and I don't think it technically occurred last week, but the person's gonna hate me because every time I mention this is Star Trek, but there was a crossover with Lower Decks and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, where if you don't know Lower Decks is the animated series, and literally they did it so well. Like the characters like portal to the past, and they were like, "You guys all look very realistic," but then they're all like the actors that play the characters, like were actually playing them on the live TV show, and I was just like, the nuances of like watching that, like a real actor play as like usually as an animated character and hitting every beat note for note. You're just like, because Boimler, if you're watching, Boimler has to really scream when he gets scared or everything. Like, I forget the actor's name, but he nails it on the point. And I just it was just such a great, like, you wonder, like, how would they cross over Lower Decks and Stranger Worlds? And that's the way to do it. Fall through a portal, and apparently you come 3D. But the funny part about it, if you watch the episode, at the end, they're like, they make the Star Trek or Stranger Worlds 2D. It's so weird just to see them like go from like real people to animated, but I just love that kind of crossover and that. But besides that, of course, the new house, everything, getting used to everything. Apparently, I have to clear up all the moving boxes, which I did, but they're no longer on the side porch. So apparently, everyone's like, I'm just gonna put this box onto the porch, realizing that the pile of boxes does not shrink by itself magically. Someone has to go out and break every single box down. But it's one of those fun things where you're like, you don't realize being an adult, you got a lot, things to do and try to get things squared away and, get your house in order.
Yeah.
So, it is fun, but, it is adulting, which I don't really prefer for anyone to do all the time. But yes, it is what it is. But yeah, that crossover was just like, it so hit everything, all the right notes for Star Trek, and I love Star Trek indefinitely. Alright, so we're at the end. Closing remarks. Where can we find you, Penny? Where are your socials? Give all the phones, not the phones, but like the addresses, the websites.
411,
yeah.
You can find me at Pennycries on Twitch. I'm pretty sure my Instagram is Pennycries_TTV. I think that's all my socials.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't really dabble that much outside of Twitch and Instagram. Twitch is mainly like my go-to if you want to hang out. I love company. It's great. We just vibe. And yeah. Pennycries. What is it? Twitch.com/Pennycries. Is that it?
Twitch.tv/Pennycries.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, there we go.
Well, there you go. So definitely come and check Pennycries out. And if you're on East Coast, better wake up very super early in the morning because she starts really early.
So sorry.
For us East Coast people. But yeah, so I think again, thanks to Purpose for joining again. Thank you, Penny, for joining this week. We are going to
Thank you.
Wrap that up here. Appreciate you guys as always. And then we'll end here. So let me transition over to the end screen. One moment. I took off. See, Purpose always knows this. I always forget to take the transition off, and then literally the music's just blurry, and I turn it off so the credits don't blur. But we'll hit the ending scene screen, and we'll see you guys in the next stream. Bye, guys. Oh wait, hold on. No one can hear you, but that's fine, because there's no audio source on the scene. Ha ha ha! Alright, thanks guys. We are ended. I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for hanging out, and great conversation as always.